Good morning, everyone. We're going to cover the Bitcoin news today, and we're going to start off with a story about China. Today, Cointelegraph featured an article about how China could possibly be a threat to the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market in general. Michael Green, the chief strategist and partner at investment advisory firm Logical Capital, today stated from a study that he did that the current estimate of how much it would cost to shut down Bitcoin as a network from, for example, China or any other uh, location or country that has such a massive amount of control over the Bitcoin mining space. They have such a high hash rate that they could possibly threaten the Bitcoin market. They can shut down Bitcoin for as little as $7 billion a year. And for something like that to happen is would be disastrous to the Bitcoin market. And I see this as not only a threat to the Bitcoin market, but also a weakness in the Bitcoin infrastructure and something that needs to be addressed, something that isn't currently being talked about. Just because Bitcoin is based on a decentralized network doesn't mean that a dominant power like China, with so much power and hash rate, could not influence the market in some kind of way. In fact, there had been a story recently published about F2 Pool, which was until recently the biggest the biggest mining pool in the world, and they were out of China. And if you check out the channel Cryptos R Us, my friend George over there is doing some investigative journalism about that. F2 Pool uh, supposedly has been shorting the market in extremely large numbers of Bitcoins, and has been suppressing the price up until about yesterday. And there is no conclusiveness to the story, but there is a lot of evidence that is pointing towards that. And it very threatening to hear that the security, the safety, and stability of Bitcoin can be threatened by a few people who have a lot of control over the network. Next is cryptocurrency. Ethereum has been beating Bitcoin to rise to record prices. In the rise to record prices, the listing now, Bloomberg is bearish on it, stating that the listing of Ether futures may see negative price dynamics, according to Nicholas P., a global market strategist with JP Morgan. And he and others are stating that the futures market is opening up potential to have pessimistic investors come in and basically short the price or reduce the price of Ethereum from short selling. And this has happened in the past with Bitcoin in 2017. And we know that when we see a new record highs, we typically do see a pullback after that. And that's just a natural phenomenon of people taking profits from their investment. However, according to these analysts, they're saying that uh, the Bitcoin futures and the Ethereum futures correlate with some negative price action. So we should be watching out for that. ARK's Cathie Wood has been on the news lately, and she has seen 100% returns in her portfolio on crypto since January. Now, Cathie Wood was in an interview, and she states her reasons for why she is bullish on Bitcoin. Now, Cathie Wood is an ETF company, and she doesn't agree with the fact that Bitcoin may see a pullback again to lower prices. I mean, of course, there's always the possibility of lower prices, but uh, she doesn't agree that we've seen the highest prices in 2021. She says, we do not agree with that. And what's been interesting is that if you look at the Google search trends for Bitcoin or Bitcoin's price, then you will find that there has not been a lot of speculative activity. And in 2017, that was not the case. So there certainly is more room for more people to come in. She also states that institutional behavior has been really fascinating lately, and that has probably been the major contributor. She's implying that that's probably been the major contributor to the price rise lately. And also MicroStrategy. We'll talk about that in a minute. Square has put 1% of all of its assets in Bitcoin, she states, as well as MassMutual putting 100 million into its general account. There's also been a lot of talk about custody. In other words, banks are now moving into holding Bitcoin for customers. And that is also another bullish implication for prices. The mayor of Miami has stated that he is very optimistic about Bitcoin and that he believes that there is a future in Bitcoin with Miami, and states examples such that he may want to implement certain things in the future, like paying salaries in Bitcoin, having local fees and taxes being paid in Bitcoin, as well as having Miami's investment capital into Bitcoin, because right now most of their assets are being held in cash and cash equivalents, and Bitcoin has been being considered by many major players as a store of value, and a good one at that. Today, MicroStrategy will pitch Bitcoin to 1,400 public companies, and they will be talking about a strategy for corporations and how corporations could be managing their assets using Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, the CEO, is very, very, very bullish on Bitcoin and has since done several interviews including with CNBC, discussing what Bitcoin is and really enabling mass adoption for it. Michael Saylor has been a huge proponent for Bitcoin. Michael Saylor and MicroStrategies have purchased 71,000 Bitcoin, making them the second largest publicly known holder of Bitcoin, with the most recent purchase of 295 Bitcoin at $10 million earlier this not that long ago, probably less than a week ago. And speaking of MicroStrategy, the presentation begins now, and I will now be streaming it live for you if you are interested in staying. I will be getting into that now. Well, it looks as though my computer is not able to load the meeting at this time. So if I decide to do it, I will do it on a separate live stream. Thanks for joining.